The Nature Elder is a big leafy boy found at the end of the Nature Dungeon. He's very accessible to all players, even new ones, and he drops great loot too. The Nature Elder is actually one of the most lucrative targets for farming, and being a stronger player makes the fight substantially more rewarding, as there are many things with the word nature in the name, like the Nature Elder, Nature Relics, Nature Dungeon, Nature Damage, Nature this stuff, Nature Elder, Nature stuff. I'm sure you'll be sick of the word nature, so I'll replace every Nature Elder in this video with a random vegetable name. So to find the Xiao Bai Cai, you must first enter the Nature Dungeon, go past the baby seedlings, then past the seedlings, and you will hit a dead end. Now in order to bypass this blockage, you must first kill 50 mobs in the Nature Dungeon. The mobs here can only receive magical damage and will otherwise be unhurt against melee damage. This also includes your pet's damage. Beating 50 mobs unlocks a path which stays open for some time, and if this isn't your first rodeo against the broccoli, you will only need to kill 30 enemies instead of 50. Pop the 4 pillars with any magical attack, and this unlocks the portal in the middle of the room which leads to the spinach. So the cabbage is by far one of the most invaluable places to farm at, as their loot sells easily and will reap a great deal of profit for you in a short amount of time. You could profit upwards of 25 million gold per hour hunting turnips, and you can find this information in the gold farming guide I made earlier. This is because the sweet potato drops several resources like books, nature relics, and magic essences, which are all extremely important for tailoring. Again, video linked above. Take a look at what an hour of the Nature Elder gave us. Yep, so 25.3 mil, including the 1000 flasks of life we also got. But what is this? Aside from the material loot, the Bitter God also has a very high chance of dropping a pet CD. CD is not only the easiest magical damage dealing pet to obtain, the other being Tiny Directs right now, but it's also needed to do damage against the mobs in the Nature Dungeon, including the eggplant. It is also very useful when leveling up as a warrior, as CD attacks from a distance and you don't need to worry about having a pet chase your target. More on this in the warrior guide video linked above. So all in all, 10 out of 10, a great place to farm, but it does have its own setbacks which we will look at in just a little bit. Now let's talk about the stats we need to beat the garlic effectively. As the ginger deals HP percentage damage ranging from 10% to 40% of your max HP, it is actually a decent strategy to run with 0 added HP points. This means your max HP is lower, so the lettuce deals less actual damage to you, making your healing potions a little bit more effective. But apart from that, the Brussels sprout receives no melee damage, so you should only bring magic to the fight. Now as the guideline is relatively easy to beat, any mage level 70 and above should be able to participate with no real problems, but like I said, we'll get into some of the small issues later on. Alright, wasted too much time talking about boring shit, so let's get to the juicy bits. The zucchini has a few attacks, but they aren't that diverse. He does, however, have 2 phases. So in the first phase, the cauliflower's first attack is a standard swing of the sword, dealing anywhere between 10% to 30% of your max HP in damage. His second attack pulls you in towards him, locks you in place, and then deals a chunky 40% of your max HP. Ouch! He also spawns these totems, which don't actually do anything. Apparently it's supposed to poison you, but I don't think it does it? Now when you beat his tomato ass down to 10% HP, this triggers the second phase. Now the screen fades to black, showing some pointless text, but otherwise returns you to the fight with the cucumber missing. Instead, you'll be faced with a Seed Guardian. Now do note that the more players in the zone, the more Seed Guardians will appear. After smacking the Seed Guardian dead, the Ladyfinger returns with 100% HP. He now only has his standard sword swinging attack and can be killed. And that is it for the whole fight. Now here's where I talk a little bit about the issues in this fight. So I do not recommend attempting the artichoke if you aren't kitted with at least the level 90 colored set, and here's why. There's a huge disparity between a mage running a level 70 Nightspan set versus a mage running a level 100 Turmoil set. And because this spot is so lucrative, you will often find very endgame mages camping these grounds or simply stealing the spot entirely. So if you aren't carrying your weight in DPS, then the drop spread will be very slim for you and most of the loot will go to the stronger player. It is an unfortunate circumstance, but in my opinion, isn't quite the worst. You see, it is possible to earn 25 million gold per hour if you are killing a Nature Elder like this. But if you needed to hit the salary 50 times to kill it, then you'll be taking far too much time, meaning you will be likely earning somewhere around 5 to 15 million gold per hour instead. At this point, I would just advise you to farm seedlings instead for a more profitable hour and give up on hunting capsicums. But in order to leave this area, you will simply walk down and access the blue portal beneath the arena. This area, however, isn't a safe zone and you will still get hit by all manner of attacks the boss uses. But by taking this portal, you will return back outside the Nature Dungeon. The same is also true if you decide to log out anywhere within a Nature Dungeon. You will simply be transported back to the entrance again. Now, with everything out of the way, let's take a look at a full typical run. And yeah, 5 hits is all it takes for an endgame mage like myself to beat the Long Bean. I don't even need to use any healing potions at all and will regenerate my health before the boss respawns. So I don't recommend low level mages attempting this at all. Anyway, that's it for this video. This boss is really easy, very straightforward. Hopefully this answered any of your questions whatsoever, but if you have any other, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Curse of Aros content. Now with that said, this has been Derek Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.